This is what you do. The People's Fund of Maui.
After seeing Oprah and The Rock's video, people have been lighting up social media with their opinions.
Oprah is guaranteeing, it's on her word. The last time I checked, unless the news is lying to me, that Oprah's house wasn't even touched. People are having a tough time trusting. Well, Rock, why do you think people are having a tough time trusting when $12 billion still hasn't been sent there? But check this out. I just read today that the $12 billion is off the table. You two are so full of crap. Rock says the number one need is money. And we need money in hand right now. So my suggestion is, Rock and Oprah, between the money that you guys are both worth and the money that both of you earn, forget about the crap of this donational thing. Go into your own banks, dip into your own wallet. You guys can come up with a lot more money than $95 million.
3 weeks later, and officials still have not provided a death toll and still no update on all of the missing children and those 15 missing school buses. Sadly, the Maui Massacre is already third-page news. A very disturbing article came out from Daily Mail with the headline, "Maui fire victims have napalm-like injuries similar to those seen in World War II or Vietnam, as cadaver dogs are brought in to search for 1,000 missing after worst national disaster to hit Hawaii in 60 years. We're gonna read through this together, but for those who don't know, we're gonna find out what exactly is napalm. According to the Oxford dictionaries, napalm is a highly flammable substance which consists of an amalgamation of a gelling substance with inflammable petrochemicals such as petrol or diesel and is formulated to adhere to surfaces. During World War II and the Vietnam War, napalm was used in flamethrowers, bombs, and tanks. It is formulated to burn at a specific rate, usually ranging between 1470 to 2190 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so back to the article, which says the victims and survivors of Maui's wildfires have been left with napalm-like injuries, the likes of which haven't been seen since the Vietnam War, according to rescue teams now tasked with combing through the incinerated rubble of Lahaina. Michael Havoc Thomas, a military veteran who owns and operates HAVOC, a private rescue and training company in Hawaii, gave a harrowing description of the reality of the devastation. The news will not be able to show you the real survivors or the real victims. It's very World War II flamethrowers and Vietnam napalm-like. That is not an exaggeration. Hawaii boasts what the state describes as the largest integrated outdoor all-hazard public safety warning system in the world, with about 400 sirens positioned across the island chain to alert people to various natural disasters and other threats. But many survivors said they didn't hear any sirens or receive a warning that gave them enough time to prepare and only realized they were in danger when they saw flames or heard explosions nearby.
To that end, when I was on the island last week, I appointed Bob Fenton, one of the nation's leading emergency managers, and I mean that, that's not hyperbole, who's been on the ground in Hawaii since before the fires erupted as our chief federal response coordinator.
This week, we heard Joe Biden saying he appointed Bob Fenton as the main point man for the Maui disaster. Fenton, who was not only on the ground since before the fire, but was also in attendance at a natural disaster seminar 3 months ago in Maui with all of the other senior elected officials. What's unbelievable is that they also had a wildfire expert as the guest speaker. And look who posted about this on their social media. None other than Herman Andaya, the man who did not sound the sirens. Taking a closer look at the photos from that seminar, you will see Maui Governor Josh Green in attendance, Mayor Bisson, as well as Herman Andaya, who is very busy taking notes on what to do should there be an emergency like a fire. The emergency response director, 4 months ago, at a disaster preparedness conference in Maui, talking specifically about fires. Now that Herman Andaya has resigned, the sirens are finally starting to go off.
Something very interesting happened the other day. There was a brush fire in Kaanapali, which is just north of Lahaina town where the main fire was, and they sounded the alarms. Now, I just made a video a couple days ago about how sounding the alarms would have been helpful during the Lahaina fire, And the government claimed that if they sounded the alarms, people would run into the fire up the mountain because, according to the government, the public was trained to think it was a tsunami. And even when they opened up their doors and they saw fire and smoke, billowing smoke, and smelled the smoke and heard the fire and felt the heat, even then, somehow they would run up the mountain and jump into the fire because they thought a tsunami was coming, which I think is a ridiculous idea. And apparently they decided it's a ridiculous idea too, because they reversed themselves and sounded the alarms for this fire. So not sure why they changed their minds, but guess how many people went out their front doors and jumped into the fire because they thought there was a tsunami? 0. So apparently many of us were right about this, but sadly that doesn't help anyone who died in the Lahaina fire.
Will Kane tweeted, "Word in Lahaina is that they'll have to scrape 6 inches of soil due to toxicity of the burn. This is also a spiritual and historical site. So an entire town razed and scrapped 6 inches into its soul and history is the price of bad planning, bad priorities, and bad politics."
The same waters that our people just died in 3 days ago are the same waters the very next day these visitors, tourists were swimming in. And that says a lot about where their heart and mind is through all of this, and where our heart and mind is though. You don't see our people swimming, snorkeling, surfing. Nobody is having fun in tragedy and continuing their lives like nothing has happened. There is 2 Hawaiis right now. There's the Hawaii we're living in and the Hawaii they're living in, they're visiting in.
Joe Biden called on FEMA to, quote, finish the job.
And those out on Maui, it's just amazing. You've seen it. Some of you have been there. It's just pure devastation. That whole part of the island is just leveled. There's nothing left. Every American expects FEMA will show up to finish the job in Maui and elsewhere.
I don't know if finish the job is the best choice of words. I also don't know if $700 per affected household is going to do anything for the people while they see BlackRock-owned Hawaiian Electric getting $95 million. As Biden said, that money will be used to harden the power grid, or the smart city power grid. Survivors of the fire are still saying that there is no relief being provided for them.
Can you tell us what life has been like for these nearly 20 days after this fire? How are you both doing?
It's been tough, not only emotionally, but financially. We feel like we're not really getting any of the assistance that we need, which a lot of other people feel the same way. We are the 50th state here, and we're not being treated like we're U.S. citizens. We feel like we just got out of a fight for our life. Now we're back in another fight for our life to find home, to find a place to rest our head just that night. We were not getting any help from federal government so far. Some people, I'm guessing, are getting the 700. We never received the 700, which, I mean, wouldn't go very far here in Hawaii.
Do you feel that the federal government has your back? Do you feel that you're getting the help you need?
No, absolutely not. And if you probably ask most locals, I can't speak for everybody, but we feel like we're not getting any help out here, at least from the federal government.
Members of the House Freedom Caucus have threatened to shut down the government if their demands are not met. Amongst the demands included from the House Freedom Caucus are opposing to a blank check for Ukraine. The White House has asked Congress to provide more than $13 billion for Ukraine in emergency defense aid and an additional $8 billion for humanitarian support. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, FEMA is underfunded by $4 billion. Georgia Emergency Management Agency, GEMA, is only funded $1 per Georgian. Hawaii's Lahaina is in desperate need of help from devastating fire killing 50+ people, and America is broke. Biden wants to send another $24 billion to Ukraine. No. A government shutdown means that aid to Maui will cease. Families and businesses in desperate need of financial help to get through this crisis, they'll be cut off. If the government shuts down, that can create many challenges for relief for people in Maui.
Who can help me? Who can help the people in my canoe, yeah? I don't want to say to the people or everybody, oh yeah, we all in the same boat. No way. The people in Lahaina, they're in a completely different boat. Their boat burned down. They're no more boat. But there's another group of us that is in a different boat, and we sinking. And we need help.
Locals say this reminds them of what it looks like during the pandemic. And Congresswoman Jill Tekuda told federal lawmakers earlier this week that the crisis that we are facing now right here in the Valley Isle needs a pandemic response from Washington, D.C.
We're going to end today's video right there. If you feel I earned it, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Would love to hear your thoughts about all this, so please share it with us in the comment section below. As per usual, I truly appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch this video, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Have a great day and take care.